Okay, well, welcome to the show. Welcome to a special edition, I guess, of BD4, episode 1022 here, the podcast. Um, we are going to discuss. I've been meaning to get to this. I just haven't been able to get to this because we've been so busy covering the Knicks, and obviously Yankees are in spring training. We've done some of that. But we've been meaning to get to this. And with finally a little break in the scheduling here, we get to talk about the World Baseball Classic. And so that's what we're going to do for a few minutes here in episode 1022 of BD4. Um, that was a hell of a pool play round. Um, it was everything I expected, though. You know, as a longtime baseball fan, a baseball fan my entire life, somebody who's played baseball growing up. Um, I love watching it, have always watched it, and it's just something that's been a major part of my life. I've not just been a Yankees fan, I've been a baseball fan, and I think a lot of Yankees fans can't say the same. I feel like a lot of fans of certain teams are just fans of certain teams. Not a lot of people can say they're actually a fan of their sport, even with other sports. But for me, I just I love baseball, and the WBC, the World Baseball Classic, man, it is one of the funner things you're ever gonna watch as a baseball fan. I love it. I've always loved it. I got very much into it in 2023, probably the most I ever had. And so far here in 2026, 3 years later, I am even more invested. I think the World Baseball Classic is one of the best things for baseball. Just seeing different cultures celebrated, whether a player is representing where they're from or their heritage, it's incredible to me. The energy, the spirit, the pride. It is everything that international play, international baseball should be. And I think it's so great for our beautiful game to have something like this. I personally think this is enough. Like people talking about the Olympics, I think this should be like this is the Olympics for us. It's our own little thing. I think it's great. I I am into every game. I'm super invested. I love how electric the crowds are. You know, some of these crowds are off the charts. The passion that these teams play with, the home runs, the way these guys are freaking flipping their bats in the air, taking their time getting to first base, rounding the bases. I love that. I think it's so cool. And the different ways that these teams are celebrating home runs and big hits in the dugout in like these very cultural ways. Like the Great Britain team was putting on the royal crown, and the Mexican team, they do the mask, the luchador mask, and the Italian Americans drink the espresso. It's so cool. And I love that. Like I love how each player has the opportunity to represent who they want to play for, right? Who play for whatever country is important to you, as long as it's in your lineage, and that to me is like it's a thing that's important to me. I think it's I and I don't want to go off on a whole tangent here, but bear with me. I think it's absolutely crazy that people get so triggered or offended or make such a big deal at the fact that like people are representing their team of heritage, even if it's not where they're from. I think that's wild to make that a big deal. The freaking idiots from BetMGM, like they're literally they're 18-year-old interns on their social media accounts are like trying to push a whole thing. It's crazy to me that you get shit for that. I don't care if you're from this area or if you're fifth generation America with heritage from that area. I don't care if you're 100% something or 1/4 something. If it's important to you or if it's a culture you grew up in or whatever, represent that. Go for it. Austin Wells with the DR. Why is he taking shit? It's funny, yeah, haha, but it's like, okay, if it's important to him, go for it. If DR was a part of your culture growing up, which I don't know if it was, but if it was, go for it. He said his grandmother's jazz chism with Great Britain. Go for it. And we got Team Italy. It's a bunch of Italian Americans over there. The crazy amount of disrespect that's getting. Why? Like you think, like if you're one of those people, it's like you're some Medigan. You're some American mutt with 10 different backgrounds who grew up without a culture, and you're telling somebody else who they should be representing because you have these made up rules for what somebody is or not. I think it's crazy. I root for America because I'm an American. The majority of my roots also allow me to root for Italy because I'm Italian American mostly. My roots trace back to Italy. I'm Napolitan and Sicilian. My uncle was an assistant coach for Team Italy in the inaugural World Baseball Classic, and I'm pretty sure he also was an assistant coach on the 2009 Italy team. So I root for them. What do people think America is? Are people unaware that this nation is built off others? It's called background for a reason. So be proud of your heritage. Be very loud about your heritage. It's insane that the, whatever you want to call it, discrimination is becoming what it's become. I think it's great that Austin Wells is playing for DR and Jazz is playing for Britain and Team Italy has a bunch of Italian Americans. I think that's great. And as far as America goes, obviously it's a bunch of Americans over there. But they're 3-1, right? They haven't gotten it going yet, offensively, relative to expectation, because again, they're 3-1, and you look at this team, they have the best roster ever assembled. And again, when I say they haven't gotten it going yet, it's like, if you look through their numbers, through 4 games, they're batting .293. They've got a .430 team on base percentage, a .514 slugging percentage, .944 OPS, 7 home runs, and 18% walk rate. So if they're not going and that's what they're producing right now, I would say that's pretty good. But yeah, you look up and there's still some untapped potential there. You've yet to see Bryce Harper break out. We have yet to see Cal Raleigh break out. Alex Bregman hasn't gotten it going yet. Byron Buxton hasn't done a ton yet. But I think when we do get those breakouts, and I think we will, I think the offensive production is just going to be insane in these hopefully next 3 games. Because you look at Team USA, and so far their hottest bats, I guess PCA and Gunnar Henderson have been outstanding. Judge, it's crazy to say because Judge has been excellent. His on-base numbers are great. His slugging numbers are great. He still can do more. That's just how good he is, but he's been outstanding. Roman Anthony's been good. It feels odd to cheer for him, but he's on the team. He's been good. And then you look at, their arms. Paul Skeens was fantastic in his first start. Logan Webb was good. That other trader was good before he went back to Detroit. The Mets prospect, kind of sucked the other night against Italy. And speaking of the Mets, Clay Holmes had a fantastic outing the other day. Struck out, I think, 6 guys. And speaking of closers, Yankees' David Bednar has been very good too. Yarborough, not so much against Italy. But going back to the offense, offensively, yes, even with the elite numbers they've produced so far, there's still a lot more to be unlocked. The first three games of the pool play, their at bats were very strong, but there wasn't a ton of power. And then you saw, ironically, in the loss versus Italy, there was a ton of power, but their at bats for the majority of that game were very low quality. And then they tapped into the power later. So you're hoping that they can finally put together, or they can finally put it all together tomorrow night. And let's stop giving up runs like right away. That's kind of annoying. But, USA will move on. They play the quarterfinal against Canada. The quarterfinal game against Canada is tomorrow night. They should boot them pretty easily. They should make it, I guess, 3-0 against Canada in these games. The USA men's hockey and women's hockey also beat Canada. So I think the USA should handle them pretty well. But that's the thing about short sample sizes, right? Anything can literally happen. It is a total crapshoot. It's a coin flip. It is a roll of the dice, just like the MLB postseason, where anybody can be good in a tournament where you play up to 22 games tops. Anybody can be good in a tournament like the WBC where you play up to 7 games tops. Right? I mentioned this on Twitter the other day. I was saying how the USA-Italy game, how USA lost, I think that was a great example of saying that short sample size should not dictate how to build a team in the MLB. Right? That's been one of my drive home points this offseason with the Yankees. It's of those two teams, even with USA losing, one of those teams is far better and they still lost. But no sane person is taking Italia's roster over America's across a 162 game season, right? If I gave you a choice to decide who you're riding with for the 162, 10 times out of 10, you're taking USA. Because everybody knows if you're given that many games, that things will even out to the mean and you become what you are. Not every team has the same odds to win, but any team can win, if that makes sense. If I gave you a die to roll and I said, if you roll a 1, you win. And then if I gave another person the die and I said, if you roll a 2 or a 3, you win. The second person has better odds, the better roster, but both can still win. That's the way I'm looking at this because it's such a short sample. So anybody can win that game, but you hope that USA does win because they are overwhelming in talent. And that game is tomorrow night. It's in Houston again. It's an 8 p.m. game. Hopefully, DeRosa knows that this is an elimination game too. I like DeRosa. I think he's a nice guy. I agree with some of his takes on MLB Network when I watch that. Not all. Judge versus Raleigh. But I don't think I want DeRosa managing the next team, USA team in the future. I just, that whole thing the other day was wild. Saying that he misspoke, but the way he acted in that game, sitting Goldschmidt or playing Goldschmidt over Harper and sitting Raleigh, and then preparing to pitch the retired Clayton Kershaw in that game, saying he thought they already advanced. That's all of it's crazy, and I'm not blaming him for their loss. That team should win no matter who's playing. I don't know if I want that guy who just it's just kind of this privileged mentality that okay, we can just run over you. We're just going to get by with talent and we don't really care. We could sit, do whatever we want, not really, and we'll just win. It's I don't know if I love that. Regardless, USA Canada tomorrow. Let's talk a little bit about Italy when we get back from a quick break. Stay with us.
Quick break here, guys. Stay connected with BD4 on social media. Follow us on Instagram and X at BD4Pod, and find us on Facebook by searching BD4. Don't miss out. Join the conversation. Want more BD4? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and never miss an episode. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and share with your fellow fans. Don't forget to ring that bell so you're always the first to know when a new video drops. Love BD4 but don't have the time to sit down and watch? Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so you never miss an episode. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a 5-star rating and a quick review. It helps us grow and keeps the conversation going.
Okay. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to episode 1022 of BD4. I appreciate you all tuning in very much. Team Italy wins last night, which helps the U.S. and Italy advance. Italy's magical run continues here. I did not think, nobody expected them to win. A lot of people, including Italian Americans themselves, had them out. But I saw that roster when the rosters dropped a few weeks ago. I saw that roster and I said, okay, they have some names on there. You know, are some of the names only names because they played for the Yankees in the past? You know, Ron Marinaccio, John Verdi? Sure. But they've also got Vinny Pasquantino, 30 home run hitter. They've also got some decent arms in that pen and both on the mound too. You know, and I've been watching all of their games and, you know, Michael Lorenzen was fantastic. Aaron Nola was good. They've both been pounding the strike zone last couple nights. Aaron Nola's, you know, listen, the guy might be past his prime. His breaking ball is still as legit as it's ever been. I mean, the break on that pitch, not Lorenzen, even the guy who got lit up, the Mets prospect. I keep forgetting his name. Nolan McLean? Is it Nolan McLean? His sweeper, whatever it is, slider, curveball, slurve, that thing is incredible. You know, it's got crazy break on it. So, yeah, they've had some good pitching performances. Wait a minute. Nolan McLean, who the fuck am I talking about? That's the kid who pitched for the Americans. Stupid ass. Who was the kid who pitched? I don't know. Oh, Sam Aldegheri. That's the kid I was thinking of. He's got some pretty good stuff. The kid for the Angels. But, and then you got some hitting displays. You know, Vinny the Guinea. Vinny Pasquantino, 3 home runs last night. Dante Nori has been awesome. He had a huge game early on in pool play. Antonacci's been good. Jack Caglione's been good. Andrew Fisher has been phenomenal. Jersey repping. The catcher's been good. Kyle Teal's injured, but the other guy's been pretty good. So I think the pitching's been good, like we said. Yeah, Sam Aldegheri, that's the kid I was thinking of. He had some pretty good stuff. You know, it's good, like, this is a kid for the Angels. It's good. That's another thing, like the classic, you get to know more about guys from other teams in the MLB. You know, Dylan DeLucia, didn't know about you. You pitched well. So, Italy's playing exceptional baseball. Really good baseball, too. Like, if you're an old school purist, like, they're stealing bases, they're bunting, they're running, they're playing defense. So that's been cool. And they've got Puerto Rico, though, up next. So I hope that they can continue and go 5-0 here overall and win the quarterfinal. It's going to be tough because Puerto Rico is pretty good. They have a very large following. That's a loud fan base. The crowd's going to be into it. But the Italians are passionate, too. And that's a Saturday afternoon game. It's a 3 p.m. game on the East Coast. It's going to be tough, but man, we thought that against USA, right? This could just be one of those things where they're feeling the magic and they run with it, man. Team Italy might run with it. I wouldn't be too shocked because, again, anything can happen in a sample of 7 games. I love this shit, man. I'm passionate about the WBC. I love the WBC. It matters a lot to me. As an American, I really want to see Judge lead his team to something. The Yankees haven't won a World Series yet with him. It'd be cool to see Judge win the Americans the gold medal or whatever the fuck they get here in the WBC, because I do think it's important. People out there saying that this is unimportant. You think these guys don't care? Again, just watch these games. Watch these home run celebrations. Watch these locker room celebrations. You see what the Dominicans are doing over there? You're going to tell me they don't care? Juan Soto saying he's having the best time of his life. Watch these crowds. Pay attention to some of these interviews, man. Soto said it. Paul Goldschmidt said it. That this matters just as much as a World Series. And a couple other guys have said the same thing. This matters to a lot of guys. Matters to a lot of guys just as much as a World Series matters. And I agree with it. Like if the USA were to win this thing, I would feel that, man. I would go nuts. I was so PO'd after they lost to Japan. I remember that strikeout against Ohtani like it was yesterday. I mean, it was only 3 years ago, but I was in the garage outside watching on the TV, and the swing and miss. So if America is to run with this thing, they got to get hot ASAP, obviously. But it's just, yeah, it's important. And it's crazy to me that, like, anybody out there thinks this is meaningless. When you consider the opposite, we'll be playing in spring training. You're in camp, playing against literal minor league competition. And you can also get hurt in camp too, by the way. So I always thought that was a stupid, like, don't play the WBC narrative. This is the world. It's international play. Stars are competing against other stars that normally would be teammates. And vice versa, right? Guys are teaming up that normally wouldn't. You're finally getting to see what Judge and Harper together looks like. You're seeing the whole Cal Raleigh, Randy Arozarena incident that happened the other night. That was interesting. Drama. It's all great. It's all good. Fox Sports just dropped the ratings from pool play, and the USA-Mexico game drew 5,018,000 followers. That's up 215% from any pool play game the U.S. played in back in 2023. That's wild, and that was considered a lot back then. It's up 215% more. It was the most watched WBC telecast ever on any network. And at one point in the telecast, it got up to 5,649,000 viewers. So this thing is popping. It's. I think personally, baseball's in the best shape it's ever been, with the amount of stars in the sport, with how global it's become, just with Ohtani doing what he's done, and all these guys coming in here from different countries, and a lot of them in the MLB now, and you got just home runs being what they are. The pitching's become what it's been. I mean, I think the game is in such good shape, and the only people who don't think it's in good shape are the super old school purists who've yet to, like, let go of the past. You're not going to get 50 guys batting over 300. That's just not going to happen with the talent that's on the mound, and with the training that's available, the weightlifting, the analytics, guys are going to hit bombs now. Guys are going to buy into the best type of hit. Why wouldn't you? It's fun. It's really fun. It's part of the game, and it's fun. So I think the WBC has been awesome. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And with that said, go USA, go Italy. I'll see you in the next show. Later. Hey guys, thank you for listening to BD4. Be sure to follow us on social media, subscribe to us on YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. We'll see you next time.